In this video, I'm going to address the question, is organic, plant-based food better? Based upon my experience, the answer is yes, with two conditions. One, the soil must be nutrient-rich and properly managed. Two, the food should be produced without chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and the like. When I was a young man growing up, our family didn't have a lot of money. So my mother grew organic food in the garden to supplement the family diet. Now I came to see organic food as something that was absolutely fabulous. My mother's produce compared to the produce in the store, there was no comparison. The food looked incredible. It smelled fabulous. The texture was awesome. And the taste was far better than anything that was conventionally produced. Now moving forward in time, as organic food became popular on a wider scale, I noticed that the organic food in the supermarket often didn't look better than the conventionally produced produce. And that made no sense to me because I had come to know organic as this fabulous produce. I'd pick up an organic peach and I'd notice that it didn't look all that incredible. And the smell was not so great. And the texture was instead of a nice firm flesh that gave a little bit, it was hard like a baseball. And the taste hardly even tasted like a peach. So this perplexed me for a while, and I thought to myself, what's up with organic food? So why is it that some organic produce in the store doesn't look as good as the conventionally produced produce? And I believe the reason is because organic has come to mean the lack of sprays and pesticides and chemicals, but it's not as much about the soil. Now my mother always had a compost pile, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it'd be a large container that you would throw in all of your organic matter, so apple peels and banana peels and watermelon rinds, grass clippings, leaves, etc. As a matter of fact, I remember as a teenager, and I found this quite embarrassing at the time, but my mother, we'd be driving down the road and she'd see bags of leaves or something on the side of the curb, and she said, go knock on those people's door, ask if we can have their leaves. So you can imagine, as a teenager, that wasn't the most exciting thing. But anyway, she would then have this compost pile and then at some point add the organic matter into the soil. Now, as I teach people, you should eat an unprocessed food diet because you get the known and the unknown nutrients. Well, when you do a compost pile, you are having essentially an unprocessed whole foods diet for the soil because the soil is getting the known and the unknown nutrients. When you use a commercial fertilizer, it's like eating processed food. Some nutrients may be missing. It's not as good for the soil as eating the whole foods diet. So when you grow plants on soil that has been fed with this nutrient-rich organic matter, then the plants are much healthier. You get the better smell, the better taste, etc. I'd like to provide an example to support the points I've just made. Earlier this year in the winter, I was cooking something in my kitchen. I don't recall what at this point. But I remember the cleanup was going to be particularly messy. I had a big pot of water and stuff I'd cooked, and I just didn't want to deal with it, so I decided to throw it out in my backyard. In the spring, where the organic matter had landed, the grassland area was particularly lush and green and reminded me of the organic produce my mother used to grow. Whereas the grass around that would be more like the conventional produce that I saw when I was younger. The last point I want to make is that just because something's organic does not mean it's healthful. An organic cookie might be healthier than a non-organic cookie, but an organic cookie is not as healthful as organic broccoli. I see a lot of people make this mistake. They'll say, oh, I'm eating organic food, but they're eating all this highly processed organic food. So if you're going to eat processed food, it's better to pick organic processed food. But for true health, you want to stick with unprocessed food and ideally unprocessed organic food. In conclusion, organic plant-based food is better provided that it's grown in nutrient-rich soil. I'm Jeff Riley for Fitness Innovations.